loss, healing, and the state of grace. 2020 was the year the birds fell from the sky. In late summer, winged creatures from the north began their annual flight, migrating south for the winter, stopping for rest and food along the Rio Grande, 12 miles away from Taos. Within 2 weeks of their arrival in Pilar, a tiny community that skirts the river, I began to watch the skies for the arrival of flocks of songbirds, towhees, sparrows, finches, scrub jays, chickadees, juncos, and the evening grosbeaks. Their sudden appearance at seed feeders and water catches on our property, a pit stop for many, announced the changing of a season, foretelling the coming of the big deep of darkness. We spent early mornings going back and forth to the binoculars, thumbing through the Birds of New Mexico field guide, excited by the simple thrill of birding. In September 2020, the national news outlets began to carry stories of a phenomenon that cut through the normal cycle of migratory patterns. Birds that made it as far as the Southwest were dying by the thousands. At first, no one could figure out the reason for it, but theories began to emerge. California was burning, eliminating the birds' food sources. If they made it out of the flames to the Southwest, they flew into the dryness of a huge drought that dried up water. In the end, they just ran out of fuel. When fall came, so did unexpected temperatures below freezing. On October 30th, we had 13 inches of snow. One morning, as I went to fill the feeder, I noticed a bird lying on the ground, its golden chest highlighted by the emerging sun. Not one of our year-round visitors, it showed no signs of trauma a predator would leave. It was perfect in its stillness. It was also frozen solid. The bird shouldn't have been here, but had likely blown off its course by the fiery winds. Cupping it in my hands, marveling at the miracle that such a creature of delicate lightness could fly thousands of miles, I buried it by the chamisa bush turned gold by the chill. How does one write about loss in a year where there has been so much? All species have suffered. Climate change spawned the fires and drought. COVID-19 demands we learn how to coexist with it. Judy Woodruff's nightly report still highlights it all for us. The foods of vaccine lines, the social division, and the unsettling effect of violent attempts to dismantle voting rights, all of which will require a tremendous reorder of how to achieve a more just, healthy, and sustainable society. But sometimes strangers with masks turn up to save the day, like Zorro, our 1957 television hero, our first man in black. Vandals had hit a stop sign in our neighborhood, bending it to the ground at a busy three-way stop. The manager at the Office of Public Works in the town of Taos explained they only had 4 employees left, and those were in the field at the county dump, the site of a COVID-19 breakout. Installing signs of precaution and a request for mask wearing. She said apologetically, "There is no one to replace the sun." But an anonymous masked someone somehow realigned the sign. Perhaps it'll save a life. My cat has lost interest in eating. As he withers away, I dream he is turned into a white kitten. I listen as cats are mysterious animals, and he may be trying to give me a message. We are all waiting for something to change, and to trust a sense of trust in the future. My vets are kind people. A definitive diagnosis is still out of reach because the animal clinics are overloaded. I feel lucky that I have a team willing to help. Many have lost their animals. During this waiting game, I may lose mine. I am hit without warning at the thought of a sudden emptiness in the gut with nothing to fill it. There is a loneliness to loss, and now it affects the world. Even with the positive shift of power at the highest level of the country a month ago, we are still suffering from a sense of uncertainty, birthed in the alternative reality of the dark internet that has become part of the fabric of our lives. Now we have the truth, and it is really heavy. We are crushed and overwhelmed with exhaustion. We are waiting. Movement is slow. Our healing will take time. Bird lovers everywhere also mourn the death of the fallen. Only when loss becomes personal does the grieving for what is missing in our lives become understood as a shared experience by many. There are still a lot of questions to be answered, but the silence of winter beckons me to dig deeper, stretch further. For now, all I can do is be present. When I'm not going out of my mind, I experience the pureness of gratitude in every bit of beauty that reveals itself. It has been almost a year since our lives have been dramatically altered beyond our control. Even so, the morning star still rises in the January east. Migrating red-winged blackbirds have arrived on time in Pilar and will soon come to our feeders further north. The tip of a hyacinth has prematurely burst through the softening soil. A reminder that rebirth and renewal are also part of the fabric of our lives.